Human behavior is a complex and fascinating subject that has been studied for centuries by psychologists and researchers. Over time, numerous insights into human behavior have been uncovered, providing a better understanding of why we behave the way we do. Here are some fascinating psychology facts that provide insights into human behavior. 1. We tend to conform to social norms. People tend to conform to social norms, even if they don't agree with them. This is known as the Asch conformity experiment. Humans are social creatures, and as such, we have a natural tendency to conform to social norms. Social norms are the unwritten rules of behavior that are widely accepted in a particular society or culture. These norms can include everything from how we dress and speak, to our beliefs and values, and our expectations for behavior in different situations. One reason why we conform to social norms is because it helps us to fit in and be accepted by others. When we follow social norms, we signal to others that we belong to the same group and share the same values and beliefs. This can be important for our sense of identity and our social connections. Additionally, conforming to social norms can also help us to avoid negative social consequences, such as rejection or criticism. When we go against social norms, we risk being seen as deviant or different, which can lead to social ostracism or even punishment. Another reason why we conform to social norms is because we often believe that they are the right or appropriate way to behave. We may internalize these norms from a young age through socialization processes and cultural messages. As a result, we may not even be aware that we are conforming to social norms, but rather see our behavior as natural and instinctive. However, there are also instances where individuals may resist social norms and engage in nonconformity. This can occur when a person's values and beliefs conflict with social norms, or when they feel a strong need to express their individuality and uniqueness. Nonconformity can be a way for individuals to challenge and change social norms, and can lead to social progress and innovation. 2. We tend to overestimate the influence of personality. We often overestimate the influence of personality when it comes to explaining other people's behavior and underestimate the influence of situational factors. The idea that we tend to overestimate the influence of personality refers to the tendency of people to attribute the behavior of others to their personality traits rather than to situational factors. This phenomenon is known as the fundamental attribution error, which is the tendency to overemphasize dispositional personality explanations for someone's behavior while underemphasizing situational explanations. For example, if a student performs poorly on an exam, people may assume that the student is lazy or unintelligent without considering that there may have been external factors that affected their performance, such as a family crisis or a difficult exam format. This bias can lead to incorrect judgments and can affect how people interact with one another. It is important to recognize that while personality traits can influence behavior, situational factors also play a crucial role in shaping how people act. For instance, a normally outgoing person might behave more reservedly in a professional setting where they need to be more serious and focused. 3. We have a negativity bias. Our brains are wired to pay more attention to negative events than positive ones. This is known as the negativity bias. The concept of the negativity bias refers to the idea that our brains are more attuned to negative information than to positive information. This means that negative events or experiences, such as danger, threats, or potential losses, tend to have a stronger impact on our thinking and behavior than positive events or experiences. This bias is thought to have evolved as a survival mechanism, helping our ancestors to stay alert to potential dangers and avoid harm. In modern times, however, it can lead to a tendency to focus on negative aspects of situations and to overlook positive ones, which can lead to negative thinking patterns and a pessimistic outlook on life. 4. Research has shown that the negativity bias can manifest in a variety of ways, such as, we tend to remember negative events more vividly than positive ones. Negative experiences tend to have a greater impact on our emotions than positive ones. We tend to perceive negative information as more important or relevant than positive information. Negative information can be more persuasive and have a stronger impact on our beliefs and attitudes than positive information. By understanding the negativity bias, we can work to counteract its effects by intentionally focusing on positive aspects of our experiences and by challenging negative thinking patterns. This can help us to cultivate a more balanced and optimistic outlook on life. 5. We tend to remember things that are consistent with our beliefs. We tend to remember information that is consistent with our beliefs and ignore information that contradicts them. This is known as confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is a psychological phenomenon where people tend to seek out, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms their existing beliefs or attitudes. It means that people tend to pay more attention to information that supports their pre-existing beliefs and values and overlook or discount information that contradicts them. This bias can be a natural part of human cognition because it helps us maintain consistency in our beliefs and values. However, it can also lead to errors in judgment and decision-making, especially when we are presented with new information that challenges our beliefs. For example, if someone strongly believes that a particular alternative medicine treatment is effective, they may seek out information that supports this belief, such as positive testimonials or anecdotal evidence. They may overlook information that contradicts their beliefs, such as negative reviews or scientific studies that show the treatment is ineffective. Confirmation bias can be problematic because it can prevent us from considering alternative perspectives or changing our beliefs when presented with new information. To overcome confirmation bias, it's important to actively seek out and consider information that contradicts our beliefs and to approach new information with an open mind. 6. We have a limited attention span. Our attention span is limited, and we can only focus on one task for a certain amount of time before our attention starts to drift. The human attention span refers to the amount of time that a person can focus on a particular task or stimulus without becoming distracted or losing interest. It is a finite resource that is influenced by a variety of factors, including individual differences, task complexity, environment, and motivation. Research suggests that the average attention span for adults is around 8 seconds, although this can vary depending on the task and individual. This means that after about 8 seconds of focusing on a task, our attention starts to waver, and we become more susceptible to distractions. The limited attention span can have implications for learning, productivity, and overall well-being. For example, if someone is trying to study or work on a task for an extended period without taking breaks or changing activities, they may experience a decline in performance or become more prone to errors. Additionally, frequent distractions, such as notifications on smartphones or social media, can further reduce attention span and make it more difficult to stay focused. To maximize attention span and productivity, it's important to take regular breaks, vary activities, and minimize distractions. This can include techniques like the Pomodoro technique, which involves working for a set period, usually 25 minutes, and taking a short break before starting the next task. Additionally, practicing mindfulness and meditation can help improve focus and reduce the impact of distractions on attention span. 7. We are influenced by authority figures. We are often influenced by authority figures, even if their instructions go against our own moral beliefs. The phenomenon of being influenced by authority figures, even if their instructions go against our own moral beliefs, is commonly referred to as the Milgram experiment. This term comes from a series of experiments conducted by psychologist Stanley Milgram in the 1960s to explore the obedience of individuals to authority figures. Milgram's experiments involved participants being asked to administer electric shocks to a person who was actually a confederate of the experimenter and not actually receiving shocks, for every incorrect answer they gave on a memory task. The shocks increased in voltage for each incorrect answer, and eventually, the learner began to protest and beg the participant to stop administering the shocks. Despite this, many participants continued to administer shocks all the way up to the highest voltage level, simply because the experimenter, who was an authority figure, told them to do so. The results of these experiments demonstrated that people are often willing to ignore their own moral beliefs and follow orders from authority figures. Milgram's experiments showed that even when participants knew that they were causing harm to another person, they continued to obey the authority figure's instructions. This phenomenon can have serious consequences, such as in cases of unethical or illegal behavior in organizations or governments, where people may be pressured to go along with actions that they know to be wrong or immoral because of the influence of authority figures. It is important to be aware of this tendency and to always question whether the instructions of authority figures align with our own moral compass. 8. We are influenced by social proof. We tend to follow the actions of others, especially when we're uncertain about what to do. This is known as social proof. Social proof is a psychological phenomenon where individuals rely on the actions and opinions of others to guide their own behavior, especially in situations where they are uncertain about what to do. Essentially, people assume that the actions of others reflect the correct course of action in a particular situation, and they follow suit to conform to social norms or avoid social rejection. For example, when people see a crowded restaurant or bar, they may assume that the place is popular and must be good, so they are more likely to go inside and check it out. Similarly, when people see a long line outside a store, they may assume that the store must be selling something valuable or scarce, so they join the line to see what the fuss is about. This behavior is driven by a desire to fit in and be accepted by others. Social proof can also be seen in the form of online reviews, ratings, and testimonials. People are more likely to buy a product or service if they see that it has good reviews from other customers. This is why businesses often encourage satisfied customers to leave positive reviews on their websites or social media pages. In conclusion, social proof is a powerful force that can influence our behavior in many different ways. By being aware of this phenomenon, we can better understand why we sometimes act the way we do and make more informed decisions in our daily lives. 9. We tend to overestimate our abilities. We often overestimate our abilities, which can lead to unrealistic expectations and disappointment. The tendency to overestimate our abilities is a common cognitive bias known as the overconfidence effect. This cognitive bias can lead us to believe that we are better, smarter, or more skilled than we actually are. We tend to focus on our strengths and overlook our weaknesses, leading us to make overly optimistic predictions about our abilities and future outcomes. The overconfidence effect can be seen in various areas of life, such as in academic performance, career success, and even in our personal lives. For example, students may overestimate their ability to do well on an exam and end up performing poorly, or employees may overestimate their ability to complete a project on time and end up missing the deadline. This bias can also lead to unrealistic expectations, which can be disappointing when we fail to meet them. For example, we may overestimate our ability to lose weight, save money, or learn a new skill, leading us to become frustrated or discouraged when we don't see the results we expected. The overconfidence effect can also have negative consequences for decision-making. When we overestimate our abilities, we may make risky or impulsive decisions without fully considering the potential consequences. This can lead to poor outcomes, such as financial losses, accidents, or even legal trouble. To counteract the overconfidence effect, it is important to be realistic about our abilities and acknowledge our limitations. Seeking feedback from others and engaging in self-reflection can help us gain a more accurate understanding of our strengths and weaknesses. It is also helpful to approach decisions with a level-headed mindset, considering both the potential benefits and risks before taking action. By doing so, we can avoid the negative consequences of overconfidence and make more informed and realistic decisions. We are more likely to help people who are similar to us. We are more likely to help people who are similar to us in some way, whether it's race, gender, or religion. The tendency to help people who are similar to us is a well-established phenomenon in psychology and sociology, known as the similarity principle. This principle suggests that people are more likely to feel empathy and compassion for others who share similar characteristics, such as race, gender, age, religion, socioeconomic status, or other demographic factors. One reason for this tendency is that we often feel a greater sense of familiarity and connection with people who share our values, experiences, and identities. We may also feel a greater sense of obligation to help those who belong to our in-group, as we perceive them as being more deserving of our assistance. Additionally, helping people who are similar to us may also provide a sense of social validation and confirmation of our own beliefs and values. By assisting others who share our worldview, we may feel more confident in our own identity and beliefs. However, it's important to note that the similarity principle can also lead to bias and discrimination towards those who are different from us. This is known as the out-group bias, where we may feel less empathy and willingness to help those who we perceive as being outside of our own group. To overcome this bias, it's important to cultivate a sense of empathy and compassion towards all people, regardless of their differences. By recognizing and valuing the unique experiences and perspectives of others, we can break down barriers and build more inclusive and compassionate communities. 10. We are influenced by our emotions. Our emotions play a significant role in shaping our behavior and decision-making processes. As humans, we experience a wide range of emotions such as happiness, sadness, anger, fear, and love. These emotions are a natural part of our daily lives and can significantly influence our behavior, thoughts, and actions. Our emotions act as a powerful motivator, driving us towards certain actions and behaviors while discouraging us from others. For example, if we feel happy, we may be more likely to engage in social activities and connect with others. On the other hand, if we feel sad, we may withdraw from social interactions and seek solitude. In addition to influencing our behavior, our emotions also affect our decision-making processes. When we are emotional, our ability to reason and make logical decisions may be impaired. For example, when we are angry, we may be more likely to make impulsive decisions that we later regret. Furthermore, our emotions can also affect our physical health. For instance, chronic stress caused by negative emotions like anxiety, anger, or fear can lead to various health issues, including cardiovascular disease, digestive problems, and weakened immune systems. Therefore, it is essential to understand our emotions and their impact on our behavior, thoughts, and actions. By learning to regulate our emotions and make decisions based on logic rather than emotion, we can improve our overall well-being and lead a more fulfilling life. These are just a few fascinating psychology facts that provide insights into human behavior. By understanding these insights, we can gain a better understanding of ourselves and others, and ultimately, live more fulfilling lives.